This video is about the 1978 Constitution. That means the second government by Adolfo Suárez. And this is the first real democratic government. So this second government by Suárez is actually the first government of the UCD, Unión de Centro Democrático. Was a difficult moment because the economy in Spain wasn't very good. There was a big crisis, international crisis in 1973, and it affected Spain. And now at the end of the 70s, Spain is suffering this crisis. This crisis made there was a trade deficit, something hard for a country because that means you need to import more than you export. That means you spend more money buying something from the exterior than getting money from selling things to the exterior. That means the inflation increased a lot. That means salaries maintained like that, but prices were increasing and increasing. That means you can buy less things, less food, everything less. So you are getting poorer and poorer. That created the destruction of companies, and then the unemployment increased and increased a lot. So with this horrible economic situation, the transition is more difficult. So Adolfo Suárez led a very big pact. It was called the Moncloa Pacts, where trade unions and other political parties and political groups and the government, they all agreed to, okay, don't protest too much because the economic situation. Government, we will make reforms, but please not very fast because we don't have time, because actually we haven't got time because of this economic situation. So trade unions accepted and said, okay, we are not going to be so fighting with that. During this government, the Constitution of 1978 was created, our current constitution. It was approved by most of the Spaniards. They call a referendum to ask for the acceptance of this constitution, and 6th December 1978 the constitution was approved. It guarantees individual rights. For example, the equality before law. That means everybody is equal under the law. The law applies for everybody except, and there are freedom of religion. You can believe whatever you want. During the dictatorship, not, you must be Catholic. Freedom of association. That means you can create an association, any kind of association. And freedom of assembly. That means you can make assemblies to decide something in common. During the dictatorship, that was completely forbidden. You must to ask for the right to meet with a lot of people to make something. If you are granted this right, it's okay, but if not, you cannot do it. You cannot go to organize a race, for example, or you had to ask for permission. Now you have the under the Spanish Constitution in 1978, you have that right, so you just make this association or this assembly, whatever. Another individual right is the inviolability of your home. That means policemen cannot go inside your home. They must ask for permission given by a court of justice. Before this constitution, just policemen were able to enter your home and take a view, do whatever they want. So according to the 1978 constitution, Spain is a democratic social state. That means it's ruled under the law. The main ruler of Spain should be the law, and government and ministers, everybody should obey this law. Law is above everybody, and the sovereignty resides on Spanish people. That means only Spaniards have the power to rule Spain. Obviously, they delegate this power into representatives elected by universal suffrage, and these representatives choose the president of the government and ministers. The form of the state is a parliamentary monarchy. You know, there are different ways. There is a republic where there is no king. There are monarchies, absolute monarchies, where the king has all the power. There are confederations, different states who make a group together, or they are parliamentary monarchy like ours, or the British one. That means there is a king, but the real ruler is a president of the government, and laws are made by a parliament. And last characteristic of the Spanish Constitution is the principle of separation of powers. That means the three powers of the state, judiciary, legislative and executive, should be separated. They reside on different people, on different representatives or different institutions. Remember, legislative, parliament, judiciary, courts of justice, and executive, the government. 1978 Constitution also established Spain as a decentralized state. That means there is no only one state, but different states. They are our autonomous communities or our autonomous regions. Other examples are, for example, the United States. The United States is a federation of states. So there is only one country, United States of America, with one president, but there are different states and they all together form this big country. France is the opposite side. France, for example, is one country, centralized, with only one state. That's the French state, under one president. Germany is like the United States, and Spain is something like that. We don't say states, we say autonomous communities because it sounds more Spanish, but actually it's the same. Every autonomous community has different rules, although all of them must obey the Spanish Constitution.